This clip is brought to you by VegasWinners.com. Get expert sports betting advice from some of the best handicappers in the world. Head on over to VegasWinners.com and win yourself some money.
The thrower is up next, and he says, Mr. Prichard, who is the French Angel, and how did you get his death mask?
French Angel is a gentleman by the name of Maurice Tillet, and Maurice Tillet was an attraction in the 50s and 60s that came over. He came over from France, as a matter of fact. I believe he was about 6'1", 6'2", but he had a head the size of Andre the Giant. He had the same disease that Andre had that made his head grow. He didn't get the height that Andre had, but he had the other features. So if you looked at him, he had a very, not normal, pardon me, a very thick body, solid, thick, large hands, and then this huge head, and was an attraction. And he was billed as the French Angel. Not a very handsome man, but a very unique looking gentleman. So when he was on his deathbed and when he was not feeling well, there was a gentleman by the name of Bobby Manigault, who was a good friend of his. And Bobby Manigault would go and he would see Maurice in the hospital. And Bobby talked him into basically, let's take a mold of your head because you're such a unique specimen. This would be nice to have to just continue your legacy. And Bobby Manigault was able to get them to get in, and they made a mold of Maurice's head. And they had these heads made that were made out of wax. The actual mold was plaster. So the plaster cast was sent to Milo Steinborn. Milo Steinborn, father of Dickie Steinborn. Milo was an old-time strongman and wrestler, lived in Florida. And Milo sent the cast of his death mask to Paul Bosch, saying, Paul, this is something that you would really be interested in and that you would really like. And Paul took the cast and had more of those wax molds made, and then he had it not plastered, he had it bronzed. And I have the bronze one. There's another one, I think it's the wax one. There's a wax one in the York Barbell Museum, and there's a gentleman in Minnesota somewhere that also has a wax one of something that he found in a trash somewhere and kept it, and then started doing his research. And he probably knows more about Maurice Tillet than anybody. But I have it. It was something that I remember when we got it. I remember when the clay was delivered and we had this deal. I'm like, what the hell is this? And Paul's, this is Maurice Tillet's death mask. They did this right before he died, blah, blah, blah. Tells me a story, Milo Steinborn. And then also in the same thing, we got Primo Carnera's fists as well that Paul had bronzed. And then Paul got Andre's foot and Andre's forearm and hand bronzed all at the same time. Nick Bockwinkel somehow confiscated the Andre stuff and sold it to a collector in Japan. But I got the head from his widow, from Paul's widow, gave me Maurice Tillet head because she knew that, I was a part of that when it arrived. And later on when it got bronzed, and it was a really, really cool, unique piece.
It says, and as you were talking about him, I looked him up. It says in 1950, as to your point, the sculptor Louis Link befriended Tillet and made a series of plaster busts commemorating his career. One of the busts is in Chicago's International Museum of Surgical Science. Another is now in the personal collection of Bruce Prichard. So there you go.
And there's one in York Barbell in Troy, New York.
Nice. Well, there you go. There's the background, Charlie, for Bruce on the French Angel and how he got the mask. Real Adam W79 is up. Adam, he says, was a new championship belt made for each champion? I don't recall a championship belt not fit in perfectly around the waist of a champion. Was a real
No,
right.
Back in the day, no, they were all the same. And that's why the championship meant something. It was passed on.
And that's why they had to have a special one made if Andre was ever going to win the belt. He wasn't going to.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe this is real, but we not only got a handicapper, but we got the best ever. How are you so good at handicapping these games? I mean, 4-0, that's quite a streak already.
Well, let's talk about every pick I've given this year in the NFL as an example. 23-8. Every pick I've given this year. 4 weeks in the bag, 23-8. There's nobody in the country that can match what I do, but I always make sure, because anybody, Conrad, could make up anything. They could tell you and blow smoke and tell you, oh, I'm the greatest. But I am independently monitored and documented, so nobody could ever question what I say and go, I don't believe it. I send every pick to an independent monitoring and documentation service that has to get the pick before the game goes off and then publishes it after the game goes off so anybody can see what I gave. But this is the best start I've ever had. I've never been this good to start a season. You don't win every week, 4 weeks in a row, everything you put out. It's been the kind of year I've had. So get on a hot streak, because when a guy's on a hot streak like me, you want to ride it. I've always had a talent for picking winners. Never quite as hot as I am right now, but I've always been very good at it. And I think it's because I do more homework than anybody else. The average guy or gal watching this podcast, they don't have time. They have a career. They have jobs. They might read the newspaper or go online and see something, but they don't have time 80 hours a week to study the games. That's what I do. And I have a crew of guys behind me, my consultants, who every week we get together 3 times a week and they throw their ideas at me. I throw my ideas at them. And then I pick the final 5 plays on Saturday and Sunday in college and pro football. So, I mean, I've got a great team behind me too, but we're all doing together hundreds of hours of homework. So you don't have to. It's all at vegaswinners.com.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to vegaswinners.com right now. Let's win some money.
Dangerously up next. I know this is before your time at WWE, but did you think Joey Morella accidentally counted to 3 in the first few moments of the Hogan Giant match at WrestleMania 3?
Watching it, yes. Watching it, I remember popping up and going, holy cow, they just beat Hogan. And was intrigued by it. So watching it live, yep, sure did.
The story there seemed to also be the camera angle. Do you think that was practiced at all?
Probably not, but it was done very well.
There you go. Bruce thought it was 3 as well. So all of us were fooled. WrestleMania 3. Eric.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.